Hi, everyone. This is a presentation that I do as part of the Lean certification, um, but it's called the Learning Organization. I think it's relevant when we talk about ORNL University. So let me take you through it real quick. I mean, I feel like learning is harder than digging a trench. I'd much rather do physical work, than it's hard work learning, reading, making the commitment to do that. And I think like physical work, with conditioning, we get learning gets easier and easier. So I know it's not easy, um, but I do kind of liken learning. Like a lot of times, we get comfortable in our jobs and we want to just do our job, punch the clock, go home, and um, it's this is hard work. It's interesting because when we start talking about the Toyota production system, or lean, there's four basic philosophies, four parts of it. One is philosophy and purpose, which is remember why we're in business, understand how we serve the world, what's our added value, what makes us meaningfully unique, that kind of stuff. The second is the right process will produce the right result. In other words, if we're having problems, it's not the people. We just need to fix the process. The right process will produce the right result. The third principle, Toyota Production System, is continuously develop your people and partners. And that means from the minute they start to the minute they retire, constantly working to help develop them. And then four, make problems visible and the root of our organizational learning. Those are the four P's. That's kind of where I got my name from my business. On the left is Taichi Ono, bottom left. He's the godfather of the Toyota production system. And again, if you look at the two main pillars, top left of the continuous of the lean production system, Toyota production system, we have continuous improvement and respect for people. And it's all about plan, do, check, act, learning cycle. So, and being lean, and especially in my own business at Duraflex, the infinity signs, you see those rainbow colored infinity signs, it means how do we continuously develop? How do we continuously improve? And this is all part of the being a lean company. And then if you look at policy deployment, which I kind of define that as how do we change direction? How do we move the numbers, the KPIs, our score? We need four things. Right? I need to have some sense of urgency that we need to change the way we're doing things to improve. A big part of it is learning, or organizational learning. We need to develop some metrics, and we also need to be able to do improvements, Kaizen. But again, learning is throughout Lean and the Toyota production system. So develop your people and partners. The way they define that is add value to your organization by developing your people and partners. Grow leaders who thoroughly understand the work, live the philosophy, and teach it to others. Develop exceptional people and teams who follow your company's philosophy and respect your extended network of partners and suppliers by challenging them and helping them improve. These are all pieces of the 14 principles of the Toyota production system. And again, they all involve um, organizational learning. And again, I would say that the only sustainable competitive advantage that any of us have, any company has, is creating, acquiring, interpreting, and transferring and retaining knowledge, and to actively modify behavior to respond those new insights or knowledge. The steeper, like the learning curve, is our only sustainable competitive advantage. What do we do with this new information, this new learning, this new knowledge? And how fast can we implement it to our advantage? That's the only sustainable. Everything else is replaceable, if you will. Peter Senge and the Learning Organization, he has a book that I'm going to talk about in a minute, but he talks about a learning organization as being an organization where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they want, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured, where collective aspirations set free, and where people are continually learning to see the whole together. So it talks about kind of disintegrating the silos. Everybody's in a silo, but how do we see the whole together? And the basic rationale is that in situation of rapid change, only those that are flexible, adaptive, and productive will excel. For this to happen, it's argued organizations need to discover how to tap people's commitment and capacity to learn at all levels. And again, I understand it's very, very, very difficult, because a lot of times it's people are tired, people are busy, And the same in my business, same everywhere. Peter Senge's book is The Fifth Discipline, and these are the steps of these are the 5 disciplines. One is personal mastery. We're going to do some learning on our own every day. If you read or something about lean construction, for example, if you devote 10 minutes a day times 5 work days times 240 work days, you're looking at hundreds of hours. It doesn't take long to become an expert. 2, the mental models and looking at how we look at the world and kind of changing that. 3 is building a shared vision, where we're all kind of on the same page. We have the same goals. And number 4 is team learning. And then obviously the 5th discipline is systems thinking. Now let's go through them a little bit more deeply individually. Personal mastery is leader standard work. That's another lean concept where we're doing routines. Lean is about doing routines, right? I can't just report for work. It's about plan, do, check, act, get better at learning cycles. We really understand what the current condition is. We learn how to do root cause analysis, and we need to make improvements based on what we learn from root cause. It's humble inquiry. It's about asking people, not using yes/no questions to learn from them, and use kata as classrooms. And people use Gemba walks where you go and find out what the problems are, daily huddles, closings. And I think, the lean construction and the last planner system, that's kind of the idea, where you're doing Gemba walks, you're doing the huddles, etc. One of my heroes, this guy, Sami Bari, he's a dentist in Jacksonville. He's been trying to implement how to become a lean dentist for probably the last 30 years. And largely, if you go to him, he has no waiting room, he has no magazines, he has no chairs. You just go in. When you go in, everybody comes to you in rapid succession. Everybody from the insurance questions to the x-ray to the hygienist to the dentist, your next appointment. And he's eliminated a lot of the waste that's involved with people having to go to the dentist. He also I love him because he's hypersensitive, focused on his customer, which is the patient. And it took him a long time to learn how to implement all of these lean concepts into, because everybody thinks manufacturing, and again, Sami has a backlog of 2,000 or 3,000 patients. He's in Jacksonville, Florida. And this is an excellent book, Follow the Learner. So learn, teach, learn, teach. A lot of things too, like things like helping to develop curriculum, like reading, book clubs, lunch and learns, all opportunities, to kind of begin to build the curriculum. The book clubs were like Inside the Magic Kingdom, Jumpstart Your Business Brain. We did Toyota Kata, Lean Thinking, The Toyota Way, It's Your Ship. But getting people used to absorbing information together and saying, all right, what does that have to do with O&L? This is actually my standard worksheet from when I was at Duraflex, and you'll see, read one article or chapter every single day, and again, that adds up over the course of the year, and you can see all the rest of my routines. And then the cool thing was when I went on vacation, I just laminated this, and someone else was able to do my routines. Number 2, the mental models. These are conceptual frameworks that consist of generalizations and assumptions from which we understand the world and take action in it. Like the right process will produce the right result is a mental model. If the student hasn't learned, the teacher hasn't taught, people are smart and people care. The mindset of firefighting and everything's out of control is a mental model. I need to be the smartest and have the answers, when in fact, I think the most effective answer sometimes is I don't know, let's find out. The carrot versus stick versus learner then teacher. Pronoun problems where they don't let us do this and they don't let us do that. Usually talking about management, and then a victim mindset. These are all mental models that we kind of have to break ourselves free of in order to be effective learning and a good learning organization. Team learning. Of course, I have the football. I have to have some football analogy in here. Again, the more as often as possible, and that's why I love the idea of O&L University, is because learning is much more effective when people are together. And again, you see the bottom left is one of the closings at the mill, Ulbrich Steel. And then there's, the team learning in a huddle every play. Then the university part too, that's where the university comes in, where it's collective learning. People are doing the same curriculum kind of. And here's some examples of some companies that, that have their own internal universities. Usually it's like all the big people, Rolls Royce and, all these huge companies. Barry Waymiller, great book, Everybody Matters. That's what that book is about. Everybody matters. But it gets into the value of having these kind of institutions in our business. And I'll just give an example of what mine looked like. Ours was called Duraflex University. This was it was 3 trimesters. This was sign up day. This was registration day where people would sign up for the course offerings. Usually it was 2 core classes that were worth 3 credits, and then 2 or 3 electives that they could take. And we actually even had Flexi the Mouse. That was our logo, and he was on mugs, and he was on banners and all kinds of stuff, Frisbees. And this is what a typical classroom would look like. And it would go from 12:10 to 1 o'clock. People would come up into this room. There was a kitchen in the back. And actually you could see me with the gray sweatshirt, see 1, 2, 3 rows from the back on the right. And you could see my partner, Bob, way in the front with the gray hair, with the kind of the reddish shirt. And there was usually 2 classes like that. These are the classes, the 0809 university year. 2 core classes were 3 credits. And then electives like nonviolent communication, the art of movement, leadership, firefighting, maintenance, personal finance, knitting, sport fishing, New England, beer making. But the core classes were basic accounting and finance, epoxy 101, which you can see I taught, EH&S, environmental health and safety was Nick, maintenance and facility management, IT, Polycrete 101, which is one of our value streams. We did epoxies, urethanes, methacrylates, and then this urethane cement called Polycrete, marketing, etc. And people would finish the curriculum if they took a course, 1 course, core class every year. In 4 years, they would have 40 credits, and we'd have a bonus and a ceremony where their families were invited to get a degree from Duraflex University. This is a video on systems thinking that I'll probably pass on separately. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, let me know. Thank you.